Hey guys, and welcome back to Clannad. So, let's just jump right back in. The next time I came to, it was after school. I don't remember most of what I did. I visited the infirmary during lunch break, but was chased out saying she's sleeping right now. And then more spacing out during class. That just repeated. I stare at the wooden texture of the desk. I could not get Kotomi's tears and her cries off my mind. Even then, my sense of reality won't return. Everything is so sudden. It feels like I'm in an absurd dream. I sensed that someone was standing in front of my desk. I raised my head to see Fujibayashi.
ことみちゃんの様子見に行きますか？
Should we go check on Kotomi-chan's condition? Fujibayashi was on the verge of tears. I finally remembered that I wasn't the only one worrying about her. Yeah, I'll come with you. And also, Fujibayashi.
はい。
Yes? Don't take it too personally. It's definitely not your fault.
はい。すみません。
Okay, I'm sorry. As we went out into the corridor, someone we know walked shoulder to shoulder with us.
保健室なら行っても無駄だからね。今部長が行ってきたところだから。
Even if you go to the infirmary, it's no use. Miss President went there just now. Kyo with a sullen expression. Next to her is Furukawa looking down, depressed. Why do Fujibayashi and Furukawa want to feel like they're responsible for it? How's Kotomi? Did she go to the hospital?
早退したそうです。
Apparently she left early. Alone? Is she okay?
もうことみちゃん家に帰ったって保健の先生からそれだけ言われたんです。
Kotomi-chan already went home, is all that the teacher there told me.
それ以上の詳しいことはことみちゃんのプライバシーに関わるからということで教えてもらえませんでした。
Any more details would go against Kotomi-chan's privacy, she said, so she wouldn't tell me any more. Privacy? Do you think it's the time to worry about that? She was suffering so much. There's no way that sleeping in the nurse's office would be enough for her to recover. I couldn't understand why she was released early, when we could have gone home together with her after school. Then let's try the staff room. If the infirmary doesn't work, we can only ask the teacher of Class A.
そっちは私が今聞いたところ、
I just went there. What did they say?
ことみが帰ったのは自分から帰りたいって言ったからだそうよ。
The reason Kotomi went home was because she said she wanted to. As if she wasn't satisfied with her own words, she answered straightforwardly.
それ以上の事情については一ノ瀬さんが自分から話すのを待ちなさいだって。
If you want to know the reason why, then wait for Ichinose-san to tell you herself, she said. What the hell is that?
私だってわからないわよ。
I don't know either. Then everyone sinks into silence. All we know now are two things. Kotomi left early because she desired it. The teachers know the situation, but believe it shouldn't be revealed to anyone else.
ねえ、私たちって
Hey, perhaps we... Kyo started to speak.
本当はまだあの子の友達じゃなかったのかもね。
In reality, maybe we weren't her friends yet. Those words stung me. Unable to deal with the pain, I turned my back on Kyo and the rest. I thrust my hands into my pocket and start walking the other way.
どこ行くのよ。
Where do you think you're going? Home.
ことみの家に行く気？今日はそっとしといて。
To Kotomi's house. You should leave her alone for today. I don't even know where she lives.
落ち着きなさいよ。あんたが取り乱してどうするのよ。
Calm down. What's going to change if you get distressed? Without answering, I head for the shoe rack. It was just as Kyo said. I still don't know anything about Kotomi. The reality that was covered by the fun we had every day. That was unbelievably mortifying. Yeah, that's tough. I opened my eyes to see my own room. It feels like I was watching a bad dream. My entire body is sweating a little. Keeping my head on the pillow, I look around. The light that fills my room is somewhat weak, and it looks like it's either near evening or near morning. I look at the clock and learn what the present time is. May 8th, Thursday morning. My body feels heavy. I remember being distressed until very late. I suddenly remembered. It's only been a day since the incident. I couldn't believe it. Kotomi, who suddenly collapsed and just sobbed. Kotomi, who went home without saying a word to me. Once again, I fall onto the bed. An emotion I don't understand returns. It was a time when I knew I had nowhere to run, but I wanted to run away. Even though I knew that there was no solution, I believed that if I worried about it, it would eventually change. I, who wouldn't take action, was forgiven only by myself. If I could just sleep now. The next time I wake up, there will be no more desire to go to school. That's how I deceived all of those bad feelings. I get out of bed, and then slowly change into my uniform. I didn't want to keep running away in a time of uncertainty. The school this morning is no different from yesterday. When I entered the building, it was almost time for homeroom. I hurried not to my own classroom, but to Class A. Looking inside the door, I could not see Kotomi's figure. I called out to the three girls in the back of the room. "Could you get Ichinose for me?" A leader-like girl with glasses suspiciously looked at me, and then, looking around once in the classroom, said,
今日は来てないのかな。
"She isn't here, I think."
休みじゃない？昨日も来てなかったし。
"Isn't she absent? She didn't come yesterday either."
でも、あの人って確か今までずっと解禁だったよね。
"But didn't that girl have a perfect attendance until now?"
うん、小学校からずっとって聞いたことある。
"Yup, all the way from elementary school, I've heard."
でもあの人って授業出ないんだから意味ないよね。
"But that girl doesn't come to classes, so it doesn't mean much, right?"
知ってる知ってる。昨日あの人、なんか登校中に発作を起こして、それで早引きしたんだって。
"Do you know? Yesterday that girl had some kind of fit on her way here, and left early, they say."
何？発作って。
"What do you mean by a fit?"
私もわかんないけど、なんかすごかったみたいよ。みんなが見てる前で泣き叫んじゃって。
"Oh, I don't really know the details, but it was apparently pretty terrible. They say she was crying in front of everyone."
うわぁ、それってなんかありそう。
Wow, but I guess it's not too surprising.
頭良すぎるもんね、あの人。変な発作とかあっても納得って感じ。
That girl is too smart. It's kind of understandable that she'd have a strange fit. I turned away.
あ、ちょっと。
Hey, wait a minute.
何あれ、感じ悪い。
What's with him? I hear some displeasing voices behind me. Without saying anything back, I head to my own classroom. I couldn't stand Kotomi being coldly called that girl anymore. My lesson was just the sky above. I continued thinking about yesterday. I carefully pull in the memory a little at a time. In between her screaming cries, Kotomi was repeatedly muttering something, as if running from something we couldn't see. She desperately flailed around, as if she were a little girl. At that time, she probably remembered something unconsciously. What was that? Or what that was? I can't seem to figure out. Not that it's something I'd be able to figure out. I shake my head. The bell rings, and the first half of school is over. It won't do any good just thinking about it. So there was only one thing I could do. The staff room had just entered afternoon break. As I lightly nod as I enter, the guidance teacher threw a glare at me. But I only had business with the teacher of Class A. I stood by the desk and waited for her to come. "Excuse me."
あら、何かしら、岡崎くん。
Hmm? So what is it, Okazaki-kun? Is Ichinose absent today?
ええ、しばらく休ませてほしいって連絡受けてるわ。
Yes, I was told. I would like to rest for a while. About how long is a while?
ちょっとわからないわね。ほら、昨日が昨日だったから。
It's kind of hard to say. See, because of yesterday. The way she said yesterday was sensitive. It probably meant that strangers weren't allowed to get involved. But I've become more involved with Kotomi than a simple stranger. I'd like to know where Ichinose-'s house is located.
一ノ瀬さんの家？
Ichinose-san's house? I just looked back at the teacher's suspicious look, because I believed that it would be meaningless to explain. After she stared at me in a game of stare-down, she smiled as though she gave up. Then, she laid down the textbook and name list she was still holding onto the desk.
ちょっと待ってね。
Wait a minute, okay? Sitting in a chair, she takes out a different name list and opens it.
住所がわかればいいのよね。
The address will be enough, right? Yes. She peels off a note and writes down the address.
お見舞いに行くの？
Are you going to go visit her? Yes.
でも、今はそっとしてあげた方がいいかもしれないわね。
Well, it might be better to leave her alone for now.
それにほら、一ノ瀬さんのお宅って。
Besides, Ichinose-san's house is... She interrupts herself.
一ノ瀬さんから何か聞いてる？
Have you heard anything from Ichinose-san? No.
そう。なら、私から言うべきではないわね。
I see. Then it's not something I can say.
お見舞いに行くのはいいけど、あまり一ノ瀬さんに負担をかけないこと。
It's all right to
わかった？
visit her, but don't put too much of a burden on Ichinose-san, okay? Okay.
ならよろしい。
Then here you go. I took the note and put it in my pocket.
最近、一ノ瀬さん明るくなってきたから、私としても喜んでたんだけどね。
Ichinose-san had become cheerful lately, so I was delighted. I lightly nod and try to leave.
岡崎くん、一つ質問いい？
Okazaki-kun, may I ask one question? What is it?
あなた今、一ノ瀬さんと付き合ってる？
Are you dating Ichinose-san right now? Before from that man, and now this question again is what I thought. We're gonna say, why do you ask such a thing? Why do you ask such a thing? Instead of answering, I asked her back.
一ノ瀬さんが一種の特別扱いを受けてることは、あなたも知ってるわよね。
You are aware that Ichinose-san is receiving special treatment, right? Yes. As long as the test grades are good, she doesn't have to attend class. I jealously thought of it as an award of freedom that was given to her at first. But I believe that it's wrong. That person probably truly wished to belong with everyone else.
そうね。
You may be right. She silently nods and beckons me to come closer. It must be to mean that discussion from here on is confidential.
私から言える範囲で説明するとね、
From my perspective,
ずっと昔に一ノ瀬さんのご家族のことが新聞やテレビで盛んに取り上げられた時期があるの。
long ago, Ichinose-san's family was famous on television and newspapers.
一ノ瀬さんは注目されたし、そのせいでいじめられもした。
Ichinose-san had some attention, and because of that, she was bullied.
だから一ノ瀬さんのことを知っている大人はね、みんなこう思ってきたの。
All the adults that knew about Ichinose-san thought like this.
できるだけそっとしておいてあげたいって。
Let's leave her alone as much as we can.
でもそのせいで一ノ瀬さんは一人でいることに慣れてしまった。
But because of that, Ichinose-san became used to being all alone.
それは私たちが間違っていたせいでもある。
That was a mistake on our part.
だから誰かが一ノ瀬さんを変えてあげなければいけないの。
That's why someone has to change her. She stares straight into my eyes while giving that speech.
納得したならもう一度聞くわ。
If you understand, I'm going to ask one more time.
あなたは今一ノ瀬さんと付き合ってる？
Are you dating Ichinose-san right now? Because of that speech, it became even harder to answer.
答えにくいなら質問を変えるわね。
If it's hard to answer, let me rephrase the question.
今あなたの存在は一ノ瀬さんに影響を与えていると思う？
Right now, do you believe that your existence has an effect on Ichinose-san? In a way, it feels even harder to answer.
イエスかノーで簡潔に。
Just yes or no will do. I answered, yes.
そう。なら、聞いてちょうだい。
I see. Then please listen.
本当はこれも、私から言うべきことではないけれど。
To be honest, this isn't something I should be saying. Saying so, she greatly quietens her her voice.
一ノ瀬さんに、海外留学の話があるのは知ってる？
Are you aware that Ichinose-san has a discussion of studying abroad? I hadn't even heard about it. I didn't know.
特別科学小学生という制度ができてね。今年からテスト運用されるの。
There's a special science scholarship scheme, and beginning this year, tests will be taken for it.
国が全額費用を負担して、アメリカの大学を1年間特別受講できるってシステムなんだけど。
It's a scheme which allows the student to study in America for 1 year, with all the expenses covered by the government.
一ノ瀬さんも候補に入っているの。事前の評価からすると、もう内定に近いんだけど。
Ichinose-san is a candidate. From the previous evaluation, it's almost the deadline to make a decision. To be able to study abroad, listed to study in a special science scholarship scheme, and because she's really special, the school is thinking of making this happen. She explained all that.
でも一ノ瀬さん、火曜日に一度断ったのよ。
But Ichinose-san rejected it on Tuesday, saying, I want to study with everyone.
私もそれがいいって賛成したんだけど。
I thought that was great and also supported her, but
今朝ね、留学の話を進めてくださいって言
this
ってきた
morning
の。
she said, please let me study abroad. It felt like cold water was poured directly into my ear. What would happen if she studied abroad? Finally, I was able to ask that.
休学して1年間アメリカで暮らすことになるわね。
She'll be suspended here to live for about a year in America. Then what would happen after that?
本人次第ね。日本に戻ってきてもいいし、向こうの大学に進むこともできるから。
It depends on her. She can come back here to Japan, or she could continue her studies in a university there.
ただ、
But
本気で学問を志すなら、日本に帰ってくるメリットは少ない。
if she seriously wants to be a scholar, I have to say that going back here would lessen her merit. I couldn't say anything more. Because right now, I don't understand KOTOMI'S true reason for deciding such a thing. But there is one thing I'm sure of. If she ends up going abroad, she will never come back again.
留学のことはとりあえず、私のところで止めてあるわ。
Anyway, I haven't got a decision of her studying abroad.
ただね、来週ぐらいには結論を出さないといけないことは覚えておいてちょうだい。
But you have to remember that I have to decide about it next week. Gosh, I can't read today. I understand.
それから、分かってると思うけど、今の話は内密に頼むわね。
And also, I hope you also know, but keep the story between us. Yes.
頑張りなさい。いろいろな意味でね。
Good luck with various things. I nodded one more time and then left the staff room.
ともやくん、こんにちは。
A familiar greeting. I turned around to that greeting.
はい、元気？
Hi, been well? Oh, it's just you.
そんなに露骨に落胆されると、ちょっと焼けちゃうわね。
I'm a bit jealous seeing you this dejected. Her usual expression whenever she jokes around has loosened up my strained emotions.
ことみ、休みみたいね。
It seems Kotomi is taking a break. Yeah. A short reply.
職員室で何してたの？
What were you doing inside of the staff room? The usual preaching.
ふーん。
She looks at me with a broad grin. Whatever, just go. You have some business inside too, right? I point my thumb at the staff room door as I say that.
はいはい。
Yeah. She put her fingers at the door. As she put her fingers at the door, she turns around and faces me.
そうだ、今日の放課後だけど、演劇部室は多分誰もいないからね。
That's right. No one might show up in the clubroom today after school. Do they have things to do?
秘密。
That's a secret. She says so with meaning. Well, that's fine with me. I also have something to do today, so I won't be showing up.
じゃあちょうどいいわね。
Then that's just perfect.
出てきたらまたビシビシ鍛えてあげるからね。
Tell her I said, I will put you to relentless training again if you appear.
それと亮と部長がまた一緒にお昼食べましょうだって。
And also from Rio and Miss President, let us eat lunch again. It seems that she predicted what I was going to do. But I am all out of time for this episode, guys. I hope that you liked it, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. So, bye-bye!